Sure.
Ma'am?
Uh, I don't know if she believes that.
Give me a few seconds while I get the stuff ready.
We were just watching a chronicle, and they were doing a episode or a session on Pedro and Ortiz, uh, and how they're doing all these things to help the community, and like Pedro has the Pedro Foundation and all of this kind of stuff in DR. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I said, I forgot. DR must be have an influx getting much more money into it because they have like other than Pedro and obviously Ortiz, like these famous baseball players that are coming back and donating to the community and doing all this stuff or whatever, which must be a good thing, obviously.
Yes, ma'am. And there's a lot of immigrants here too, as well. So that has definitely made a
Regular
difference.
people too, but you know how it is when you have famous people, like they put the spotlight on everything, like make it bigger than like it just becomes more known, you know what I'm saying. Someday we going to the Dominican Republic. First thing is going to come and meet the teacher. Did you hear someone say this? Elise,
What? I didn't hear what was said.
someone was saying that if we go to DR, the first thing that's going to come is the fishing rod.
The fishing rod?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if you go to the place where he lives at, then you won't have no use for the rod.
We can get to the places that there's a lot of fishing. It's an island. You'll be able to find some areas easily.
It would have to be salt water. Someone doesn't appreciate uh, fresh water as much.
He'll get whatever he wants. There's salt, fresh, everything that you can name of. Okay, may I begin now? Can you see my screen now? Madama?
I hear you. I just put it on.
You.
I hear you. I just put it on mute.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so today's market, as you can see from the colors on the screen, was a big red day. Not overly much percentage, close to 1% and the NASDAQ, as well as the S&P 500, and slightly above 50.65%. The VIX is just going cray. A lot of volatility here. 5.81, close to 6%. Russell K did the worst, close to $1.50%. And basically, if you were short today, you made lots of money.
What's the bond yield?
For the bond, and this is why, because the bond increased a little bit. So the 10-year is 4.636%. Bond,
that little bit of increase, Treasury bond rises. Man,
it was because Jerome Powell was talking to a lot of caca.
Bond. That means tomorrow may not be good.
Yes. Oil was down, nat gas,
But I see
and
it's ideals.
what's our Bob gas? Do you know what that means? Our Bob gas?
No.
I don't know. And gold was down slightly. For the pre-market or for potential things tomorrow, you can see that is the momentum going down in the post market at the moment. So just keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Okie dokie. So let's now review some symbols. Okay. So I made money on Vana today, and it was the winner of the losers, close to 11%. And I averaged in on this. I had a really bad price. Oh, sorry, that's not a Carvana. Hold on a second. That's a Fermi. I also wasn't a Fermi. My apologies. Basically, if you had Carvana and you bought it at any pop, you will have done well because it just basically took a dumpster fire most of the day. I averaged in and it got to my price and I was able to make some money and I was able to get out. Rivian hasn't been doing well. Oh, let me look at the daily for Carvana. Hold on a second. So well, let me move this thing so we can see. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so it was a big red day today and it started to curve or go back down to this area. The next area of support, I would say, is 1133, but it has to get here and break this area as well. And it did, it was down for a long time. Then it went back in that momentum play or Santa Claus slash rally slash whatever you want to call it. But now it's just like, wait a minute, it put the brakes and it's starting to go back down. So we'll see if it continues to go down, which it looks like because it's below the 50 already, and it's gonna get close to the 200. So we'll see. Riviana, this has been having harsh days, 2 days back to back in a row. The EVs have been hit hard lately. So you can see yesterday was a big down day, and it's just a continuation from yesterday. It was close to 9% did to the downside. And basically the same thing. If you got any pops today, you would have done well. The only opportunity to kind of get out would have been like whenever you saw it go up like this and maybe average in, but you would have had to have, not so many shares and stuff like that. But hopefully this turns around and maybe people can get out. Open. So we had talked about this yesterday in our notes. We said just any pop short it. We missed the boat here. It's been struggling. It actually hasn't been moving from this area here. So there's still opportunity if it does like a little pop again, because eventually it's going to get to $1. So that's 97 cents. That if you have a lot of shares, you can potentially just, write it down. This thing is going to be going to Gutterland. So Wifey, I'm just gonna say thank you for negative 8.25%. Please keep going. I hope it breaks this level and goes down. So I hope it continues. It had a decent earnings according to this, but it's still losing money. And let's hope it continues that way because I'm shorting it. Tesla, about negative 6%. Very similar in nature to Rivian, but not as bad, obviously, because Rivian has two big candles. This one just has one, but it's sort of doing the same thing. The other one's worse. And from these mountains, it's just getting, it's been going down, 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 lower highs. So, just be careful on this. Tesla, after its earnings, hasn't been doing well. And these are one of the Magnificent Seven. So if this is going down, it's not going to help too much the Magnificent Seven. So just be careful. But it is Tesla, it has mood swings and it is bipolar. So Again, you will see this is just a dumpster fire. Everything that you will see is going to be a dumpster fire. Peloton, I'm in this. I've been on this almost every day. And basically, just again, any pop that you see, I got it here actually, which was really good. Um, get some. So any pop, uh, you can write it down. So that should be on the notes on a daily, because every day I've been making money on this. Every pop, I just get some shares and write it down. Chewy will skip. Macy's, no comments. I'm kind of upset at that, but I should be able to average in if it gets below 11 or so, 10-ish. Lucid, I don't even want to talk about it because it's probably the same image as Rivian, if not worse. DraftKings, we'll take a look really quickly. And again, this one was more choppy than the other ones because the other ones was just a waterfall down. This one was, it was kind of, dumpster fire at the beginning of the day. Then it was just bouncing up, kind of level set between this area and this area. And then after Jerome Powell, I guess, started speaking, it went down. Dashi has went down as well. So you can see everything was just, it was giving money away if you were shorting it. So now you can really see the trend has picked up down. It has to fill this gap. So this is a good one to put on the notes because I think it's going to fill this gap now. From 84.25 to 75.36, it should be put on the notas. A square will skip. We can look at Target at the daily level. Basically, it's just been doing a little wave. It hasn't really been doing much of anything, but just here, hasn't been really going up, hasn't been really going down past this 103. It may do a pop for Christmas, and that's probably it, but I don't anticipate that it's gonna go cray as the other ones. Home Depot, we'll just take a quick look. As we can see, it did a gap down, so I think it's gonna go back to this level. So it gapped up a little bit here, it turned around, gap down. So when it does the gap down, I think it's gonna, maybe continue going down. Walgreens, we'll skip. Taco, let's look at BJ's real quick. 67.31. I can see this kind of doing a little pop for Thanksgiving or something. So I just wanted to look at it. Nikete, doing well, very good. I would say any dip on this, you can probably get it and get a few pesos. It did a down day. However, you can see from the graph that even with the down days, it just picks up. So I can see this going over the 200, maybe getting surpassed this level, and then the next level will be up here, and that's a good level to consider going up. And then, watching it for then a rejection after the holidays or after the Santa Claus rally. It's not the ultimate highs, but it likes this level. Subaru will skip. American Airlines went down. I may get more shares on this. It has been doing semi-decent compared to the lows here. I've been kind of riding this up almost every day, been making money on this. So I may get some. It's starting to, move up a little bit in the world. Let's see if it goes over the 50 period. There's really no area of support until we maybe get here, which is kind of soon. So I hope that it continues on this trend. Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has been doing little bounces, but it looks like it's going up. We want to see if it fills this gap. So continue to observe it and see if there's a little dip like today, and maybe you can take it for the Santa Claus rally. But be careful on this too, because it has, with this, it hasn't been doing the best. Googly. Okay, so Googly, not very dramatic, but it did. Yeah, actually, it's very dramatic from this point onward. 1 o'clock, it's just been going downhill. It was fine. until this point, actually, and then it took a dramatic hit. But let's look at the daily. As you can see, it has been on an upward trajectory. It hasn't done any dips or crazy moves down. So I think if it surpasses this 50 period, I think it's going to get back up here to this level. So yeah, I think it's going to go continue to go up. Unless with the interest rates and the fear factor, then yeah, it will continue to go down then. But this is part of the Magnificent Seven, and it is Google, so you know somebody's gonna, if they bought it here, they want to take some profits, but make it go up here. Let's see bancos, the banco. Okay, the bancos have been doing well. Did a little retracement, of course. Today everything was down. It's still above the 50 or the 200, still above the 200 here. Let me look at it. Hold on. I'm confused on this one. Okay, yes, above the 50 and below the 200. But the banks have been doing strong. I would say the next level is this area here that we have marked 30. So it did do a dip. See if it goes back up to 30. Let's just look at this. And this one did like a woo, woo. Again, if you got it here, you can got it out, maybe ride it back up, and then down to Gutterland to the end of the dia. Amazon. Very similar, just down. Let's look at the daily. This has been doing very, very well. Let's look at our historical levels. So it's back up here. You can kind of say it almost back up here in this 143, 145 area. The next level would be here, I would say, kinda. Let's see if it resists this level. Based on today, it did start to look like a rejection, but it is Amazon, people, and people are gonna be ordering a lot of stuff for Christmas. So just be wary of that. Take of that a note, and consider maybe going long a little bit on this for the holiday Santa Claus rally. Sam will skip Meta. Somebody did well on this. Again, this has been very strong and stubborn. It
Yes,
likes this range
pesos.
that we have. Yes, ma'am?
I said, yes, I made a few pesos.
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations, ma'am. So yes, this has been very stubborn since the beginning of time here, since January of, since the febrero. And two gaps up, it hasn't filled it, of course, and another gap. And so it likes this range a lot from 316, 320 to 300. It just keeps on just staying around here. If it breaks this area, which I'm thinking it will, then you will have to look at our next level, which we said would be 340 or so. Because even though it was a red day today, you can see that it's going up and it was a green candle. So the next area that we had identified, as we had said, is 343 to 350. So let's see if it breaks this level once and for all. And we want to try to track this because we want to see if it reaches here, and that will be definitely a good potential short after the Christmas Santa Claus rally. ASML will skip, QQQs will skip, CRM will skip for now. Visa, it didn't do bad compared to everything because people are going to start, charging left and right for things that they shouldn't. Microsoft. Sorry for the background noise. There's a lot of gorillas out here. Um, this has been very, very, very strong. We thought that it would, after this dip, that it would continue to go down, but it proved us wrong. And it's been doing a little wave, but now, it picked up. Even though it had this slam down day, it's still above the 50 line and it surpassed. It had a lot of good, momentum, and it's at the ultimate highs. So we want to put that in the notes to continue to observe softy because it might even surpass this area and maybe get to 370. Who knows? And when it gets there, it's gonna slam down because this area is ultimate, very high. So we want to keep that in mind that sooner or later it does have to come back from space. So this is the second mountain that has gone up there, Mr. Softy. This is very strong, I would say, compared to the other magnificent sietes. Netflix has been strong since earnings. Obviously had a big gap up, did a little like tumble here, just stayed around here, pick up, pick up. Now it's starting to create a little area of support, which is from history, an area here. It might stay here for a while before it goes back up to beyond 450. But let's see what happens, because the last 4 days or 5, it hasn't been really doing that much movement. Hasn't been dramatic or anything like that. And even today, even though it was a down day, you can see that it wasn't as like crazy like the other ones, where it was just, from the beginning, it put some resistance, like it went cray, went up, kind of stayed up, and then everything that went down, uh, because I think he was talking, this happened. Car. Let's look at car for a second. Okay. Went back down. From this area of 198. It likes that 200. It likes to reject that 200 area. So I'm not surprised that it did, because this is an area that we had marked before as an area of support / resistance. I think it's gonna go back up to this 200 and then maybe go back to that 225. But we had gotten it at 225 or whatever. We always said get it above. Like if you're gonna short it, definitely get it above this area. But you can write it up for sure. It moves about $8 a day, but it is very volatile, and also there's not a lot of volume, which is dangerous, and the spreads are really, really big. So that's also something to take a note of for this particular stock. I used to trade a lot last year. I kind of gone away with it, gone off from it. I don't like the volume anymore, and I've been in other stocks now that I prefer. Sana, Mansana. So if you got this dip, congratulations. Nothing wrong with getting a dip on the Mansana. It was going down. It's back to this mountain, kind of level setting, kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to continue to go down, but it could. It could. Um, this area is still above the 50. We'll see if it continues to get to 190, even 200. You never know with this stock. It could just be like, you know what? I'm going to prove you guys wrong. I'm not going to get down. It has a lot of dinero, and I could potentially see it going up there. If Softy and this move the market, I can see you making some money, but you do have to keep in mind that it has been weak also. But overall today, compared to the rest of the market, it did very, very well, because it just was negative 0.28%, which is kind of nothing. It wasn't as dramatic as the other ones. It was mostly on the high. And like, again, this was caused by people speaking. So this, you could see this in all the Magnificent Seven, that it
Cinco
was just, if
Cientos.
it did it.
Dang, you beat
Hmm?
me. Cinco Cientos, you beat
What?
me.
Well, cinco cientos.
Cinco Cientos. Quien centos.
What?
Quien
What's
centos.
cinco cientos? Quinientos?
Quien,
500?
yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I did very well, ma'am. I did very well, ma'am.
freaking loca.
Well, it wasn't me. It was the stocks that I had. You know,
Corky says you're
what do
going
you?
loca.
I refuse to disagree with Corky.
Corky says you
Okay,
got to
so
move up your goalposts.
no, I'm not ready yet. Okay, so McDonald's, Mickey D's. Um, we missed the boat again because we were scared of being crazy. It's starting to go, it's doing the steppy. I don't see it. I don't see why it wouldn't get up here at least, you know? And this thing is great. If you get it and like ignore it, the next day, the next time you blink is just positive. It's a really good stock. Intel, somebody wants to get in this, but we're waiting for it to get to 32. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But I would suggest or
Yeah,
recommend that at least 34, because I don't know if it's going to get to 32, but I think
viene,
34, 35 is reasonable.
viene. It will come to fruition.
Okay, I think, in my opinion, this is not investment advice. I think, the 35 range is reasonable. Some people really love this play for the long eternity, and they're gonna make mad money on this. So if you want to jump on this, the folks that have been rooting this, wait for that price, 32. But if you're antsy or whatever, and it doesn't get there, I would say 34, 35.
2 to 3
But
years,
not invest.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, so you have to ignore it and put it like somewhere where you won't watch. XOM. Somebody predicted this and somebody was absolutely right. Somebody said this thing was going to go to Gutterland and somebody was right. And here it is at 102. There's an area here or some sort of floor. So I could see it getting to 100 easily, especially mañana. If this thing keeps going down, you can see it get to 100. It may be a psychological level that it could bounce up a little bit, but eventually it will get down below 100. Somebody's favorito. Um, like we said, just wait for it. It could have gone up like Bank of America, but as you can see, it's not as strong as Bank of America, and I could potentially see it going back to 10. Just wait for it, and also test the 10. Don't go crazy getting too many shares because it could go below 10 as well, and that's where you want to average in. But definitely 10 is the area for you, sirs and madams. Freshie Pet uh, is being a punk, but now you can see it's getting down to earth and it will go down. It will go down. It's going to fill that gap. It had a positive day, which is kind of crazy. This thing is not even that great, but hey, we'll take it going down. NVDA, 0.5%. This, I think, was the only thing that did well. And Disney, you can see the trend up, even though it was a red candle, it did very awesome, especially at the beginning of the day in the 40 the 10-minute range, and you could just ride it up. And again, this was caused by Powell speaking, but it did fairly well compared to everybody else in the world of the market today that we have in this list. Oh, BA, I think Neil has this on the notes tomorrow. If it gets to like 192, he wants to buy it for a potential long. So he thinks if it, gets back to 192 or something, it might have a breakout and get up here. So that's
Please,
something that, people may, that's what he says. I'm just saying what he
please,
said. You
please,
may, it may not, it has
please.
been going down. That's what he said. Uber, close to 80.80%. It did fabulous. If you got this at the bottom at the beginning of the day and you long this, man, you did well. And especially if you got out of here, Look at even in the drop, it didn't even drop that much compared to everybody else. So Uber, congratulations, my friend. You did well. Azo, I recommend whoever has this to just get out if you are in the opposition trend. But that's just my opinion.
Please,
Okay.
please,
This thing moves about almost $45 a day,
please.
and it's not gonna
I need
get to that price.
yeah,
You may want to average in when you get to the super high. That's my only recommendation. But other than that, in my humble opinion, you should just get out if you are counter trend. Hint, hint, nod, nod, wink, wink.
please.
But yeah, that's just me. What the heck happened to MU today? This was crazy. Leanna, what the heck happened to this?
I think
Why is this why is this why is this
did
extra?
they have earnings the other day? No,
They
no.
would have said it. Can
Look
you
at the
find
date.
some information as to what this is the daily? Look at how crazy this thing
No,
went.
on the minute. That's kind of weird. Let's see. I don't know.
Let's look at it at the minute. This thing should be shorted.
I thought
It did a crazy. Look at
this
this.
happened. This was today.
Yes, it was counter trend because nobody went up like this. This is insane. It's MU. Why?
I'm trying to see if I can find something.
Huh?
I'm trying to see if I can find something.
Anyway, put this on the notes. We just want to observe what it does.
Well,
It did
that's
a
the
lot of
only
movement.
thing I have on the notes.
Huh?
That's the only thing I have on the notes.
Okay, it hit this level. Then the next potential level is here. I would say 80 or whatever. It's kind of extra. Okay, my fabulous Beyond Media. I had this on the notes, but I didn't get any because I was focused on some other stuff that I had more of attention. Um, it had earnings today, so it did a gigantic pop because of the short interest. And then if you got it here and shorted it, you did well. If it goes beyond 7, and let's say it gets to 8, that's a really good area to, but you can see it rejected it. So I think it's going to continue to go down. This is another one that you have to be wary about. Volume is not usually as predominant like this. It's usually lower than this. So I can see, I put it on the notes because this thing is going to go down.
What
It's
am
going
I
to go
putting
down.
on
It's
the
going to be
notes?
worse. Just put Beyond Media for me.
Okay.
It went close to 3%, and everything was a dumpster fire. You know it's gonna dump. You know it's gonna dump tomorrow. 680. And Coin was the winner of the day, close to 6%. If somebody would have just waited, they would have been Rico. But we've all
What
been
is
there
this?
where we just want to KAT and
What
take
is
our
this?
money and run. Uh,
What is this? Coin? Oh,
coin.
I don't want to hear that.
Uh, and that's it. Let me see. So I have a little
Can I
video.
interrupt you on Micron? So,
Yes, ma'am.
high
Be my guest.
product developments. Micron Technology, Gal Shift, Gallup Thursday, having demonstrated its industry leadership by announcing its 32 gigabit monolithic die based 128 gigabit DDR5 RDIMM memory featuring best in class performance of up to 8,000 MT per second, to support data center workloads today and into the future. These high capacity, high end memory modules are engineered to meet the performance of data handling needs of a wide range of mission critical applications in data centers and cloud environments, including AI, databases, all this other caca. So that's why.
Okay, so basically it introduced a new technology chip thing.
Yeah, so it's probably going up tomorrow too. It's just one of the fastest, I guess, um, memories um for data storage and stuff. So let's put this. Probably gonna go up tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
I would think. If
So
it went
here's an
up,
area.
if it went up today, uh, you would think it's going up tomorrow.
Okay. All right, we'll see. Interesante, interesante.
All right, so I'm gonna let you play your video. You got a few minutes, and you got 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Bag. Uh, I had a 6 minute video, but we can just listen to him for a few minutes. Oh, this one's 17. Okay, let's 6:48. We'll listen to Mr. Nas.
Forex.com, the #1 Forex broker in the U.S., part of StoneX.
All right, everyone, welcome to the midweek market wrap-up with myself, Michael Noss from Stats Edge Trading. What we do in the middle of every week is just kind of see the last few days of trading and what has happened, what we could potentially expect going into the end of the week, where at the end of the week, on the weekend, I take a big step back and we look at weekly charts. We go through tons and tons of charts. This is kind of a halfway point to that end of week video. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, make sure you go to statsedgetrading.com, sign up for the email list. That way this video is just emailed directly to you. I always appreciate all the thumbs up, the comments, the likes. It really helps the algo pick everything up. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the charts. And as always, we're going to start with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, we've talked about on the weekly video, this prior resistance right here it's been struggling with, and now it's been hanging out here for almost 2 weeks, not able to get much further. So waiting to see what happens in this zone, if we can get some sort of push. Full disclosure, I am long Bitcoin. I bought a bunch on this break, and I bought a little bit more in this zone right here. So I've got a pretty good average still, protecting that now. So, in barring any sort of craziness, it'll be a can't lose scenario. But I would be interested to see if we can bust through this $36 a share. Now, couple of the interesting, we should just get rid of some of these, but a couple of the interesting Forex pairs that I've been watching, mainly around the dollar. And we'll take a look at the DXY to know why. Right, this big push up in the dollar led to a lot of bearishness in equities. Ever since then, we've been just kind of chopping sideways, but we broke down from the dollar, rallied to it, and you can see kind of two topping tails. And anyone who's followed me for any length of time will tell you this is one of my favorite setups. If you have a break of clean support, a retest of that support, and then a failure, I love that. And then obviously inverse on the upside, showing that this level of importance is now switching its energy, right? There was buyers here before. Those buyers got knocked out of the position. So now when it rallies back up, they're met with sellers. So if this rolls over, that's going to be a positive for equities for sure. And you can see that if we take a look at some of these cross pairs, like the euro, which is a big part of the Dixie. You can see all these topping tails. So this 1067 area was a big deal. Came back down to it twice, two bottoming tails. So full disclosure, I'm long some euro. Looking to see if this pattern can continue. We can get a push up into, I don't know, this area right here at least. And then maybe we start to kind of come and retest, try to challenge anchored VWAP highs right above here. So if we get through that, then that switches this anchored VWAP scenario. Now, also want to look at the yen. The yen's always an interesting one to play. Still coming to new highs here. It's just every time the Bank of Japan says, hey, we're going to defend our currency, market doesn't care. to me, it feels like could be something that goes bad in the long run. But so far, still an incredibly bullish uptrend in euro dollar. So now let's grab here and we're going to get into some stocks. So we're going to go, this is one of my favorite screens that we built in Trade Ideas on the web version. So this works on your phone, works on whatever it is you're looking at, where you can just go change from the close and